you already know it's that kind of week. Come on, who's working anyway? It's the 29th of December, New Year's Eve, just a couple days removed or a couple days out from. We're winding down 2025, and I've got a lot to get to over the course of the next hour, including what we'll begin with, and that is the latest on Lamar Jackson's health status, and that is according to John Harbaugh. This will be essentially my instant reaction to what I just watched unfold at One Winning Drive, virtually John Harbaugh's Monday press conference, his weekly sit-down with local media, where he addressed a number of things, including Lamar's health, the overall update there, and there were plenty of those updates, but bottom line is we're going to know more coming up on Wednesday, and I'm not sure if any NFL insider, Schefter, Rappaport, Glazer, truly has a good feel for where Lamar is right now, and perhaps the Ravens don't right now at this moment on Monday before Sunday Night Football. Maybe they don't either. So we're going to get into all that and more. It's brought to you by my friends at ZipRecruiter, my friends at Preston Automotive Group. Got a brand new sponsor in ZipRecruiter, so welcome them here inside the family. I'm Bobby Trosset. As always, this is where I bring you Ravens coverage and beyond. And as you probably know by now, this is what we're spending all week on. It's a winner-take-all Ravens-Steelers matchup in Pittsburgh, regular season finale. Winner goes on to host a wild card playoff game. The loser, oh my God, it is going to be a tailspin kind of offseason for whichever franchise walks away as the loser from this matchup, because both coaches will face the job security questions nationally, regionally, locally. Both teams will have a lot to answer for. But until then, and until we figure out which organization that is, we got a lot to cover. And it all starts with Lamar Jackson. Will he play? John was asked point blank. And what I did was put together a snippet that is 3+ minutes long on John talking about Lamar's status, several follow-ups, including Tyler Huntley's development, and ultimately how this final decision will be made prior to Sunday night in Pittsburgh.
Lamar to be able to play this week, or is that still to be determined?
Yeah, well, it's to be determined. You know, I mean, still he's coming off a very serious injury, and he's working at it. Saw him in here today working at it. So I think we'll know a lot more on Wednesday.
With Tyler Huntley, you know, you talked about him when you guys brought him back here. Obviously, he'd been here, you know, a number of years, and then went away. Then he comes back. What gave you guys the belief and trust in him? You know, we've seen how he's played in these sort of must-win games this year, and how have you sort of seen him grow, you know, to this point in his career?
Well, you know, it's just a compliment. I think a credit to him and what he's been doing all really since he got into the NFL. He was a hard worker, you know, when he came here. And had a couple opportunities, as you remember, you know, and did pretty darn well, you know, for the most part, and kind of showed he had a chance, and then went into other places and continued to grow and improve. I feel like there was noticeable improvement, you know, in different aspects of his game. He'd be the first to tell you that, I know, and then, you know, when he came back in, you know, we'd watched him on tape, we'd seen him on games from last year and then preseason tape this year, but when he came back in, just because the opportunity presented itself, you know, he was available, and it was just really an opportune type of a thing for us. And he looked good in practice, you know. He looked like, wow, you know, I tell you, Snoop's come a ways. He's improved, and he was good before. So to see it come to fruition in these games and to win these big games is really awesome. You know, it's just incredible and nice, wonderful, and he deserves it, and we're definitely appreciative of it. I mean, the guys rallied, played great football around him, and he played a heck of a game.
Maybe be one of those noticeable improvements.
Oh, well, I mean, I just think it's just operating the offense, you know, for sure. Decision-making at the line was really good. You're in Lambeau. It's loud. It wasn't perfect. We had a couple pre-snap things, but nothing too damaging. Ball handling, I thought, was good. Ball security, protected the football. Made good decisions where he put the ball, throwing it. Got the ball out, you know, really in good rhythm on the because they were mostly all rhythm passes. Got the ball out on rhythm. All those things were it's definitely a step up. Probably, you know, as he in his career, I'd say continued to climb with.
John, I know Lamar didn't practice all last week, but throughout the week, with the back contusion, was there improvements? Were you told were there improvements with him throughout that week, though?
Yes, absolutely. There was improvement throughout the week. I mean, it was not good at all early in the week, and it improved as the week went on, and that was cause for optimism.
Will the final decision come down to the training staff and consulting with them? Is that who will make the decision?
It's what it always is. The doctors and training staff, the coaches aren't deciding, who plays from a medical standpoint.
The effectiveness that you have seen from Snoop in his 2 starts, does that change the calculus at all? If Lamar is kind of close to ready, but you're not sure, do you push it or not push it? The fact that you have a lot of confidence in Tyler, does that play into that, or?
No, I think the fact that we have a lot of confidence in Tyler is a real big positive, a real plus, but it doesn't factor into whether Lamar plays. If Lamar's ready to go, he's playing. That's it, for sure.
All right, lots of interesting things there. Again, I snipped all that together, 3+ minutes related to Lamar, Tyler Huntley, the decision-making process, so on and so forth. Look, the moral of the story is we will know more Wednesday. I don't think even the insiders have a true feel for this. I mean, listen to Schefter this morning on Get Up, for example.
That the Baltimore Ravens go into this week preparing as if Tyler Huntley will be the starter. Wow. Lamar Jackson has missed at least one practice 7 straight weeks. He himself and John Harbaugh talked about how painful that back injury was. He didn't practice last week. They ruled him out right away. I don't see any evidence right now that tells me that they can count on Lamar Jackson being there on Sunday night. Now, he might make it back this week. We'll see how that back recovers. But I think you have to plan as if Tyler Huntley is going to be a starting quarterback Sunday night in what could be Aaron Rodgers' final game.
Jay Glazer, Ian Rappaport both noting that the Ravens are optimistic. Schefter there kind of pushing an assumption, if you will, commentary type piece earlier this morning on Get Up. Captain Hard weighs in. He says, I think Lamar's playing. Surprised Lamar is in the building on an off day since, according to Mike Preston, he don't take care of his body. Yeah, right. Captain also writes short rhythm passes. So that kind of answers the question. It's not Huntley making quick decisions. The call itself is a quick pass. Do it with Lamar. Appreciate the super chats, Captain, as we get settled in on this Monday afternoon. But back to John Harbaugh's comments in the early part of his press conference related to Lamar's status, meaning game status. Quote, it's to be determined. He's coming off a very serious injury. I think we'll know a lot more on Wednesday. Then, referring to last week, there was improvement throughout the week. It was not good at all early in the week. That was cause for optimism, meaning the buildup and the improvement that he made throughout the week, leading into ultimately being ruled out of Saturday night's game in Green Bay. The coaches aren't deciding who plays from a medical standpoint, obviously. And the fact that we have a lot of confidence in Tyler is a real big positive, but doesn't factor in to whether Lamar plays. If Lamar's ready to go, he's playing. That's it for sure. And that really is where this starts and ends. They can say all they want that it's a medical decision, that it ultimately has to be endorsed or perhaps cleared by the Ravens medical staff. But all I really care about is Lamar Jackson clearing himself, meaning does he feel like internally that it's a green light, that he can give enough to not only go and be as close to himself as he possibly can be, but more importantly, that he can give the team what it needs. So not only would it be north of what Tyler Huntley at full strength, meaning full health, can give, but what Lamar feels like he can give truly and genuinely from a physical standpoint. I get it. Those of you that say even a 60% Lamar can hand it off to Derrick Henry 36 times. That's not really the conversation we're having, because Pittsburgh, in my estimation, will have a plan for Derrick Henry. They didn't in the wild card round last January to the tune of 300 rushing yards allowed, but Lamar had a component in a play and a part in all of that, as did Derrick Henry as well. We all know that they occupy and possess these lethal talents as a duo in Baltimore's backfield. Now, look, just a few weeks ago, earlier this month. I watched the Steelers team that had an answer for Derrick Henry. The Ravens handed it off to him 25 times, 25 carries, 94 yards, 3.8 per carry. Like, Pittsburgh has had an answer for him in the past, as they have with Lamar as well. Now, the big thing for Pittsburgh, as we're going to get to a little bit later on, is who they won't have at their disposal. No DK Metcalf. No Washington, the big talented tight end who broke his arm yesterday in Cleveland. TJ Watt reports out that it's a long shot given the lung. Perhaps Calvin Austin won't be at Aaron Rodgers' disposal from a pass-catching standpoint. So there's a lot that Pittsburgh has in front of it. And in terms of what is out there for the taking, if you're John Harbaugh, it's obviously another opportunity to quiet some of the job security noise. And that noise has gone national in recent weeks, especially after you abandoned your future first ballot Hall of Fame running back after the 13-minute mark and his second rushing touchdown of the half, as we all remember on Sunday night against the Patriots just a couple weeks ago. For all of that and more, John fielded a follow-up question for the second time in as many weeks related to his job security, and it was asked by the Baltimore Sun's Brian Wacker.
Talked about, you were asked about job security last week and if you expect to be back next year. A lot of people are going to maybe look at this game, probably unfairly so, as a kind of referendum between yourself and Mike as the two longest tenured coaches in the league. And I'm just curious if you feel that at all and kind of just how you view that generally.
Yeah, just really don't have the space for that. It's just not something that you have the ability to think about. It's not important. It was important. It had an impact and a bearing, then I think you'd think about it. But you think about it because it's always that way, so it's probably all that stuff makes it all kind of interesting and kind of fun and real. It's sports, that's how sports are. And I think that's part of the intrigue of it all. So I feel like really honored to be a part of that. And if I was just being honest with you, I feel really honored to be a part of it. I know there's always pressure. There's always pressure, but, I think it was Billie Jean King who said pressure is a privilege, right? Was it Billie Jean King who said that? And that's something that is earned, so, we feel like it's something very worthwhile to be in games like this. And if those are the things that are being talked about along with that, that's okay. That's a privilege too. So let's get to work and let's go try to play our best game.
Fair follow-up question. Second time in as many weeks. Fair answer there from John Harbaugh, who in part said, quote, "You really don't have the space for that. It's just not something you have the ability to think about. It's not important. I feel honored to be a part of it. There's always pressure. If those are the things that are being talked about along with that, then that's okay. That is a privilege too." Guys, there will be plenty of time and dialogue and open conversation to talk about that. Job security and John Harbaugh's future and the best path forward for the Ravens. That time is not right now, because you win on Sunday and you have the opportunity. I don't know if I'll be predicting this, but you'll have the opportunity to completely erase what's happened over the last 17, 18 weeks. You'll have the opportunity to embrace a full, clean slate and the chance to not only win the division with 9 wins, not only go back to back to back and make history in terms of AFC North titles, 3 consecutive seasons, not only for the time being, quiet that job security talk, but ultimately punch your ticket to the postseason, host a home wild card playoff game. We'll see who the opponent ends up being when, if the Ravens get there. That's what's on the line. It's about will, desire, want to. It's Ravens Steelers. Regular season finale, winner take all. What more could you possibly want? I know, like in past years, you would have wanted the AFC playoff picture to be wrapped up by now, meaning the Ravens to have clinched by now. But given the circumstances, given the unique challenges that this season came along with. For them to be where they are right now, I don't know what more you could possibly ask for in a realistic, reasonable world. And as far as Lamar, before I shift gears to the defensive side of the ball, let me say this, and I'll just reiterate what I said on the vault earlier this afternoon. The only player who could ultimately make this decision, the only person that can ultimately make this call, assuming that the medical side of things isn't to the point of hindering him as a human, hindering the team, so on and so forth, is Lamar Jackson. He is the one that has to make the call when it's all said and done on whether or not he can suit up and confidently and physically give himself and the Ravens offense the best chance to win the game in a winner-take-all, winner-go-home type of environment that somebody will be stepping into, whether it be him or Tyler Huntley, come 8:20 Sunday night in a hostile environment in Pittsburgh, period. That's where it starts. That's where it ends for me. Let me know what you think in the live chat and maybe even vote in the poll if you're interested in doing so as well. We've got over 190 votes and counting, so approaching 200 votes. My thought and my question that I pose to you guys is this. Should a physically compromised Lamar Jackson, I know it's somewhat vague because I don't give you a certain percentage, but should a physically compromised Lamar push himself to play on Sunday night? And so far, with over 200 votes and counting, we are deadlocked, interlocked at 50%. It is a 50-50 toss-up right now. How about it? Now the super chats come in. Kumquat. What on earth is that handle? Kumquat says, is it Coom or Cum? Goodness gracious. If we tie, are we both in or both out? I have absolutely no idea. It would go to the division. And aren't they both 3-2 in the division? I'm pretty sure that would be the case. So then it would then go to common opponents, right? First of all, there should be no ties in the NFL. There's been at least there was one tie this year, wasn't there? Green Bay and Dallas, wasn't it? There should not be ties in the National Football League. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Get rid of ties. But first it would go to divisional record, right? They'd both be 3-2-1. So then I think you would go to common opponents. Am I right on that? Tell me why that's the case, because I'm just doing this in real time. People are saying it would go to Pittsburgh. Why is that? Everybody's saying it would be Pittsburgh. Can somebody tell me the logic before I move on? First of all, now I'm being shown the English for kumquat. Great. That is fantastic. You guys are ultimately deciding on wins, overall wins. Would it simply come down to just wins? Is that what it is? Maybe it is wins. Pittsburgh does have 9 wins. The Ravens would have 8 wins. They'd be 8-1. Is that what it would come down to? Anyway, do not tie. I don't even want to talk about ties. Fuck a tie, to be quite honest with you. Anyway, thank you, Kumquat, for showing up and showing out. Goodness. Okay, time to tell you guys about newest brand sponsor here inside the show. Kind enough to join the vault as well, and that is our new friends at ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring for your company, you guys probably know it's a busy time of year because you got 2026 goals. We all do. But when you are in hiring, that means you got to find the right people to accomplish said hiring and achieve those goals. You also have new hiring challenges for the upcoming year as well, like filling specialized roles or identifying qualified candidates from a huge pool of applicants. Lucky for you, there's a place you can go that can help you conquer these challenges and achieve your hiring goals, and that is ZipRecruiter. Right now, you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/audio. Have that directly linked in the show notes if you want to learn more and get started today. You can also see the screen share tool that shows you that website if you're watching me in real time right now. You can let ZipRecruiter help you find the best people for all of your roles. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. You can see for yourself and try ZipRecruiter for free today. Visit ziprecruiter.com/audio. Again, that's ziprecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Go find out more information in the show notes. I appreciate them for their continued support and their new support of the channel, both here inside the Bobby Baltimore end of things and also inside the vault. I also appreciate you guys for being with me this afternoon. Coming up on 4 o'clock, the guest lines are open. Apparently, a lot of you are working. I know Shelly said she's working. Who else is working out there? Going to be an interesting week. Always is the last couple weeks of December. I know in the corporate world, maybe my brothers are watching this at home right now. Are you guys just fiddling around to keep your screen on, like make sure your mouse moves every half an hour on the hour, or are you actually grinding? I love you both, but you're both in the corporate world. And I saw you guys earlier this week when I was down and out, relegated to the basement with the flu. I did see their little work home and at home setups. Sure seemed to me like there's a lot of fidgeting of the mouse to go along. Love you boys. And an early happy birthday to John Cooper Adams Trosset, the youngest brother of mine, who will be turning 23 years old on New Year's Eve. Sarah's birthday. Make sure you guys stop by the vault tomorrow. Sarah, who was already poo-pooing her birthday and the significance of it. It's not a milestone year. But you know me, I like to hype up birthdays and hype up my friends' birthdays and loved ones, and in this case, business partner. So Sarah is turning a certain 40-something tomorrow, and I hope you guys will come out and make sure that we show her some love accordingly tomorrow. The 30th is Sarah Ellison's birthday. Oh, man, my meds got me real dry. Real dry, still getting over the flu. So appreciate you guys for dealing with me, and I sure could use a couple call-ins if you guys can pry yourself away from meetings and whatnot to help me and help save whatever's left of this voice. So anyway, that is that. Over 700 concurrents and counting on this Monday afternoon. If you could like the video on your way in, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership today. And that is that, which brings me to this. As we continue to set the table for what promises to be, I don't know what the right adjective is. Historic, let's call it that, at the very least. Evening on Sunday in Pittsburgh. The Ravens opened up as 3.5-point favorites. Now, look, a lot of this has to do with DK Metcalf. He will serve the second of a 2-game suspension. The appeal was upheld. And I guess you guys can send thank you love letters to that psychotic Detroit Lions fan who apparently has a history with DK and held a press conference alongside his legal team on Friday. What a psychotic nut job, right? Certainly not excusing DK's behavior. That's unacceptable, especially knowing his stature, knowing his importance to what the Steelers are trying to do. I thought it was Bush League, to be honest with you, from this Detroit fan. And there was footage that was caught from behind him after DK retaliated of this nut job, Ryan, whatever the hell his name is, celebrating. So clearly he had an agenda. DK ultimately, in an emotional moment, allows his frustrations to get the better of him. And now the Steelers are paying the price, as they did on Sunday in Cleveland, which opened the door and left it wide open for the Ravens. Whether that really ends up being a door knocked down permanently for Baltimore remains to be seen, but we're going to figure out exactly that coming up on Sunday night. So Washington is down, talented tight end, big body tight end, big presence. Didn't have a huge factor the first time these two teams played in week 14 with just a catch. But his presence alone, again, as a blocker, as somebody that clogs up space, is a talented pass catcher, is an easy safety valve for Aaron Rodgers. He broke his arm on Sunday in Cleveland. He won't be out there. DK Metcalf will not be out there. TJ Watt, apparently, reportedly, is a long shot. I'll believe that when I see it, given that it's been a couple weeks with that lung. We'll have to watch and monitor that closely this week. Perhaps Calvin Austin is down and not at Aaron's disposal as a pass catcher for them. So all of that and more, I'm sure, gives context in terms of why the Ravens have opened up, according to Vegas, the way that they have as 3.5-point favorites. Again, more context, and in this case, numbers to show why that might be the case. Take a look here, next gen stats. This is Aaron Rodgers with and without DK Metcalf. With DK, Aaron has a 67.2 completion percentage. He throws for 7.1 yards per attempt and a passer rating of 99.9. Without DK, and this includes Sunday, that completion percentage plummets to 56.7. The yards per attempt plummets to 4.7, and the passer rating plummets to 69.1. He had more receiving yards, did DK, than all other Steelers combined in that win earlier this month, week 14, to the tune of a 27-22 decision. And again, he was targeted 12 times. That was a game high for DK Metcalf. Early and often, through the air, short, middle, you name it. DK Metcalf, the Ravens had very little answers for DK Metcalf. 7 receptions, 148 yards, as you see there. That long of 52 on Marlon Humphrey, dropped it in a bucket. The next closest receiving leader that day was Jaylen Warren. Most of those were dump-offs. 3 catches, 49 yards, and that touchdown, a long of 38. He was targeted 3 times. When you look at the Steelers overall, from a statistical perspective, after DK Metcalf, there's a considerable drop-off. The next closest pass catcher is Pat Freiermuth. Freiermuth comes in at 435 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns on 49 targets, 38 receptions. DK, 850. He's missed a couple games. 850 receiving yards, 99 targets, far and away their most targeted player, 59 receptions and 6 touchdowns. So needless to say, this is a big loss for Pittsburgh, as we saw already in that Browns game. Also, needless to say, the Ravens secondary has got to get it together as soon as possible. My pal, Cole Jackson, just tallied up some really ugly numbers from Saturday night in Green Bay, and these are yards allowed by Ravens corners. Nate Wiggins, unsurprisingly, led the way. 5 catches, 6 targets allowed for 111 total yards. Marlon Humphrey, 3 catches on 3 targets, 51 yards allowed. And Cheeto Uzie continues to bow up, man. Has there been anybody on this Ravens defense, not named Kyle Hamilton, that's been more reliable for the Ravens this year than Cheeto? Just 9 yards allowed on Saturday night, 1 catch, 3 targets. John Harbaugh talked about the secondary, and then a very rare call out of his second year, defensive coordinator Zach Orr, and this came earlier this afternoon during his Monday press conference.
Post-game, you did acknowledge kind of the shock of how the defense played. Now, having reviewed the tape, what did you make of that? You talked about big plays. Was there a theme? Was there something that really jumped out as far as why that was happening?
Yeah, there was. It was just technique. It was technique in the back end, really, corner position, and it wasn't anything. It wasn't really across the board. It wasn't any kind of miscommunications or anything like that. We played things right. We just didn't play them. We didn't play the pass game well from a coverage standpoint in the back end. It was really the outside lane throws that you saw made. They were just too easy. We didn't cover them well. And then quarterback getting out of the pocket. We got him a few times, but he got out a few times. He's elusive, but a couple of those were more our fault. Just our rush lanes weren't as good as they needed to be, and sometimes it was getting him down too. He got out of our grasp once or twice. So those are the 2 things that were very much pinpointed to the problem in terms of the yards that were given up. We had one. I'll say this: we had one seam route. The first touchdown was a seam route against cover 2 that we didn't play that right or well. And it, honestly, too, it wasn't a great call against that route. So I'd say those were the 3 things.
Did you guys hear the call out there at the end? Right, that last third of the answer, that was referring to the 39-yard touchdown, which was in response to the Ravens' methodical opening drive by Malik Willis and company, where he found Christian Watson, right, that vertical route right up the middle, 39 yards. Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton at odds, having a spirited conversation after that one. Just a tough look for the Ravens in that moment. But ultimately, you hear John Harbaugh. This is some pointed critique here. Quote, we had one seam route. The first touchdown was a seam route against cover 2 that we didn't play that right or well. Honestly, too, it wasn't a great call against that route. Also was quick to point out some of the technique issues. Let me run that back once more from John Harbaugh, talking about his secondary, specifically the cornerback position. And I'm going to pull up the play itself, the highlight of that Christian Watson touchdown and what went wrong for Zach Orr and his players on the field in that moment.
Segment, post-game, you did acknowledge kind of the shock of how the defense played. Now, having reviewed the tape, what did you make of that? You talked about big plays. Was there a theme? Was there something that really jumped out as far as why that was happening?
Yeah, there was. I mean, it was just technique. It was technique in the back end, really, corner position, and it wasn't anything. It wasn't really across the board. It wasn't any kind of miscommunications or anything like that. We played things right. We just didn't play them. We didn't play the pass game well from a coverage standpoint in the back end. It was really the outside lane throws that you saw made. They were just too easy. We didn't cover them well. And then quarterback getting out of the pocket. We got him a few times, but he got out a few times. He's elusive, but a couple of those were more our fault. Just our rush lanes weren't as good as they needed to be, and sometimes it was getting him down too. He got out of our grasp once or twice. So those are the two things that were very much pinpointed to the problem in terms of the yards that were given up. We had one. I'll say this: we had one seam route. The first touchdown was a seam route against cover 2 that we didn't play that right or well. And it, honestly, too, it wasn't a great call against that route. So I'd say those are the three things.
All right, ready? Here it is. I had a chance to cue this up right here. Again, this is the Christian Watson 39-yard touchdown, and you see the issues that the Ravens had on this seam route. Afterwards, the Peacock cameras caught Roquan and Kyle arguing, seemingly having a spirited conversation with one another. And you see, it looked as if it was on Kyle, right? Not sure ultimately who that's on right there, but John Harbaugh being sure to talk about it and mention it specifically without mentioning Zach by name, mentioning the call, right? The execution or lack thereof, the play call itself. That does not happen. That is a rare call out of a second-year defensive coordinator that he has been extremely protective of over the last couple of seasons. Can we all agree? I mean, he has been extremely protective of Z.O. And again, the secondary, there's no room for protection. There's no room to hide or downplay these numbers right here, especially when it comes to Nate Wiggins. He's a talented, young, second-year player whose recovery speed at 4.28 was supposed to be one of his calling cards coming out of Clemson, and has been, don't get me wrong, and has been at times throughout his first couple years in the league. That was not the case on Saturday night in Green Bay, and just in case you missed it, Shannon Sharp made sure to call that out on Nightcap a couple days ago.
Ask you this, Ocho.
Talk to me.
Explain to me, how can Nate Wiggins run 4.28 at the combine, play off coverage, and teams still get behind him? Explain that to me.
Well, I can tell you that. I can tell you that. For one, you read the 3-step, and you have 7 yards, right? You read the 3-step. Before he gets on your toes, you got to open up and be ready to transition. He's gambling and hoping, thinking that the routes are short. You know what? I can catch up and beat players and using my speed. But hold on, you run 4.2, right? But the person that's in front of you, that's running by you, runs 4.3. So you're not gonna be able to turn and go unless you already in motion. Going back, you can't transition and turn your hips and hang with somebody that running 4.3. That's not gonna happen.
Well, let me ask you this, Ocho. What good is he gambling gonna do? He can't catch the ball. He had an opportunity to seal the game last week.
Okay, yeah.
The ball hit him in the chest. He guessed right, and the ball hit him in the chest, and he dropped it.
Hey, on the slant route.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why is he gambling? That's not you. You are knock the ball down type of guy. So stay in your place and knock the ball down.
He's got several interceptions throughout his career, but Unk's not wrong, right? Nate's got to find a way to ultimately come up with that football. He's referring to the Patriots game, but what we're talking about right now is the numbers that you saw on the screen a moment ago. 111 receiving yards, 5 catches, 6 targets. Nate was clearly being picked on by Malik Willis. And same could be said for Marlon Humphrey, who, yes, is playing significantly compromised with his left hand, that left finger that was pinned. It required a procedure within the last month or so. Then it was stepped on at one point. He came up with the interception at one point. I mean, Marlon's season as the longest tenured defensive Raven has certainly been tumultuous up and down. His future, there will be conversations about his future when it's all said and done. But one thing that you can never question Marlon on is his toughness, his availability, and ultimately, sometimes whether it's being in the right place at the right time or simple ball skills, he finds a way, whether the ball finds him or he finds the ball. He finds a way to momentum shift and turn games around by taking away the football, which the Ravens as a team defensively have struggled with, especially in January over the years throughout the Lamar era in the playoffs. So, look, it's not good enough. That's why John's calling it out. I know some of you taking issue with John calling out the play that shouldn't have been the call, right? The Tampa 2 call there. Ultimately, it's refreshing to hear that. I do think that it is refreshing. I think Zio has obviously deserved a level of accountability and blame this season when it comes to his defense. But you want to know what? You want to know who Zio? He's only as good as what? His personnel. And when it comes to his pass rush personnel, there ain't much there. There is not much there. And that's why I'm of the belief that at 42 years old, Aaron Rodgers on Sunday night with no DK Metcalf, with no Darnell Washington, he will still successfully move the ball on the Ravens. I don't know if they're going to put up touchdowns consistently, but he will move the ball. They're going to move the ball with Pat Freiermuth. They're going to move the ball vertically. The Ravens will successfully prevent Pittsburgh, I think, from running the football, but they have been susceptible through the air. They have been susceptible to the vertical passing attack, and it all starts up front. It all starts with the lack of pass rush. And if all of a sudden Zio is put in this position where Aaron is camping out in the pocket, having a chance to do what he does best, surveying the scene, going through multiple reads within his progression, ultimately it's going to be a pick your poison type of game for Zio as he tries to dial up pressure in a manufactured type of environment rather than organically. So we're going to have to wait and see which Ravens defense shows up on Sunday night. Because if it's the one that we saw on Saturday night in Green Bay, the one that we saw for much throughout the first 6 weeks and at times rear its ugly head over the course of the last couple weeks, this is going to become a shootout, and whoever's playing quarterback for the Ravens offense going to be in this predicament where you have to put up 30 plus. You have to. And you could talk about all you want, glaze this, glaze that. Why don't you look at it realistically? Aaron is going to move the ball on this Ravens defense. He's going to. Who's going to make the more timely play when it matters in the fourth quarter? Who is going to force that game-changing turnover? And most importantly, who's going to bow the fuck up on both third down and in the red zone? We will see. Let's open up the guest lines. A couple of you have been holding for a while, so sorry for the delay on that. You see right now in my live chat poll with over 350 votes and counting, and we're still at 50%, which is interesting. Should a physically compromised Lamar push himself to play on Sunday night? Richard, what's up, brother, man? Great to have you back. How you doing?
What's up, Bobby? How you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Recovering from a long ass 3 days. Been moving my best friend's family and then my dad. So getting some recovery now, which is nice.
Good.
Body aches. So, but I mean, it's all good. I got one thing to say though, and I agree with a lot of the things that you said. The one thing that I am not sure about is how the hell is Aaron Rodgers gonna throw the ball to somebody? I don't know. I'm not discounting Aaron Rodgers, I am discounting the Pittsburgh Steelers pass catchers.
Dude, but
I think
here's the thing. I got to stop you on that one because having watched, do we all agree that Cleveland's the best defense in the league?
oh, I don't disagree with you at all.
Okay. So that's a yes, right?
Yeah.
I think they're the best defense in the league. If they're not, they're top 3. The way that Pittsburgh moved the ball on them at the end of the second quarter going into halftime and in 2 minutes going into the fourth quarter, which ended up being the game's final possession, right? They ultimately fall short on fourth down to MVS in the right-hand side of the end zone. That right there with Freiermuth, right? Attacking the middle of the field, getting the ball out of Aaron's hands quickly. That's how you beat the Ravens defense. And I think like you're talking about the lack of horses. I get that. There's a conversation to be had there. I'm more receptive to that than I am the alternative. I think they're going to be able to move the ball. I do.
Okay. I mean, admittedly, I wasn't able to watch that game.
Go back and watch those 2 drives because they're going to get the ball out of Aaron's hands quickly. They're going to attack the middle of the field. I don't know who's going to be their vertical threat. I mean, I don't know if Calvin Austin is going to play. Is it going to be Scotty Miller attacking them vertically? Is it going to be a running back in Kenneth Gainwell, their second leading receiver, attacking them vertically? I don't know.
Actually, it might be Gainwell. He at least has hands. It might be him.
He does. And he played well, by the way, earlier in the month.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. To address your poll question, I don't think my gut tells me I would rather play Huntley than play Lamar. I would say, I mean, you get the whatever percentage, healthy Lamar is going to be. I would say if he's not 90%, I want Huntley out there. And it's not discounting Lamar at all. Lamar is phenomenal. He does things that Huntley can only dream of. It's more so right now, it looks like Houston is going to be what we played the week after in the playoffs. Against that pass rush and our O-line, I want Lamar to be 100%. And I think if he plays against Pittsburgh next week, he may not be. I'd much rather have him. Maybe we play him for a drive, maybe we play him for a quarter, and we see, at least if he's able to. But I mean, for me, I'd much rather him almost treat this as a bye. Maybe not a full bye, but at least, like even if he's 100% or like 90%, I'd much rather him, do a quarter, so he's not rusty. But I'd much rather, I know we gotta have this game, but I mean, maybe I'm looking over Pittsburgh right now.
That's a slippery slope. That's a fine line game to play when your season's on the line.
I know.
And knowing what Pittsburgh has on the line and knowing this game is in Pittsburgh at Acrisure, look, man, I get it. You go.
And maybe I'm just that confident in Derrick Henry. Maybe that's just it. I think that we could have run the ball against Pittsburgh with Derrick Henry. I think it was coaching malpractice over anything else why they stopped him. I think right now, if Derrick Henry played him against again, I think him himself is probably enough of a horse to beat, Pittsburgh.
Thanks for the call,
I'll be
brother.
overlooking them, but that's what I feel.
Great to see you, brother. Happy New Year.
Great seeing you.
Later, man. Look, it's important to remember that we can't get lost in the sauce of all the success that this team had, led by Derrick, led by Lamar in the wild card round last year. Pittsburgh, historically, has had an answer for Derrick Henry, and they had an answer for him when these two teams met up earlier this month. On that day, Derrick ran for just 3.8 yards per carry. And hey, while I'm still an advocate of show me twice, show me you can follow that up, it doesn't take away from knowing that not only have the Steelers played Derrick Henry tough over the years, they've played Lamar Jackson tough over the years, plural, excuse me. Maybe the toughest of any opponent out there up against Lamar, not named Kansas City. And I know there have been several games due to injury and due to COVID and first round bye in past years that they haven't matched up with him as much as other divisional teams have. But that's something to remember. And one big way that Lamar has beaten Pittsburgh over the years is with his legs. And I think we all know that his legs is not something that he can lean on at the moment. At least we think, barring something miraculous happening between now and Sunday night. All I have to go off of right now is the player that I watched voluntarily make himself available to local media 8 days ago. A player that couldn't stand up straight and a player that was wincing as he spoke and described the pain that he was in. Mr. Ravens football, I know he's going to hit me with some much needed. Actually, it's not as much needed as it's been in recent weeks, but I'm sure it will be welcomed, and that is optimism. Great to see you, brother. Happy New Year. What's going on, man?
Happy New Year, man. I love you, Bobby. And let me tell you something. Man crush right here, buddy. No, I'm just playing.
Hi, likewise. I love you.
Listen, a team can score, I mean, not score, but they can put up as many yards as they want. It's about the points that matters. So they can put up 340 yards passing, but if you don't score, you don't win. Just like what happened with Huntley. Like in the Ravens this week. They just, I mean, Derrick Henry ran all over him, but I mean, not for nothing. He got 4 touchdowns. Like,
and you know what? That's kind of been my whole point all along.
Like, I've
never said that Pittsburgh's going to come in and hang 30 plus on them. I think Aaron's going to move the ball effectively on them. And then once they get to the red zone, are they settling for field goals or are they punching it in? Because if it's the latter of those two, if it's the latter of those two, Ravens aren't walking away. I don't feel very confident.
I feel
that
extremely confident.
Well, no, here, but let me finish the sentence though. If you get into a shootout, I know we're coming off a game where Tyler Huntley led a 41, led by the first ballot Hall of Famer, but a 41 burger is what they put up on the road at Lambeau. Now, Micah Parsons changes that wholeheartedly, individually, but I don't feel very good about a shootout based on the way this offense has played for the better half of 2 months. So you're going to want to settle for field goals in that situation that we're talking about. And to your point, let Aaron move the ball effectively all they want, but bow the fuck up in the red zone and make sure they settle for field goals.
Oh, 100%. And you know what? I just, I think this, I said it a million times, but the switch is there. All they got to do is switch it, and it's back to a Super Bowl team, man. I mean, think about the history right now, Bobby. Come on. These guys went from, they couldn't win a goddamn game to now their playoff hopes are on the line. Like, this is the most amazing thing to be a fan. It's crazy insane what they can do right now. And then they go in with 0-0 because everybody is 0-0 in the playoffs, and you don't know what to expect from Baltimore, which is the scariest part because their team is kind of what would look like last year. Imagine it all coming together now, and it didn't come together in the season. Damn, that's all I'm going to say for the other teams.
Brother, I'm a week away. I'm a week away for diving into your pool of optimism because we are 1 week away. The Ravens are 1 week away from a completely clean slate.
Oh, man.
0-0. So there you go, brother. I appreciate you. Happy New Year. Thanks for the call, my man.
You too, buddy.
It's got to be a balmy day up there in the Northeast, too. He's wearing a T-shirt outside. Either that or he's just jacked up to come on the show. Maybe both. Quan410 says, if Zach Orr don't blitz the living hell out of Rodgers, I'm going to be pissed. F the zone. No DK Washington or Austin. Don't make it easy for a 20-year vet. Quan calling for man coverage, baby. If you're going to play man, Nate better not be playing off coverage, as Shannon Sharp talked about, and getting burnt by guys that like Adam Thielen, like MVS, and like Aaron Rodgers referred to a bunch of his teammates earlier this month. Cast-offs. Do not let cast-offs embarrass you in a winner-take-all moment. Douglas, Canadian Currency, says, Huntley can't push the ball down the field. If they shut down Henry, LOL. If Lamar is at least 80%, then he obviously needs to start, LOL. Douglas, thanks for the super chat. Thanks to all of you guys for being with me. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to my entire audience. Olu's on the move. That means he's joining me here live right now. What's going on, brother? Good to see you.
What's going on, man? Happy New Year. Well, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you. My only thing is, Lamar he kind of has to play, really. The bad part with the bad part for Derrick Henry is that, yes, I think he should carry the ball 35 times also. But if you get behind the sticks on first down or second down, it kind of nullifies what he can do. But Broderick Washington being out, and hopefully, I don't wish anything bad for him, but TJ Watt being out.
Talking about Namdi?
No. TJ being out. No, Broderick Washington for them and Watt for them. If they're both out with their rookie that's out also, I think we can still run the ball.
Washington. I'm sorry, Darnell Washington.
Yes. I think we can run the ball. It's going to have to be schemed right, but I'm not going to lie to you. I know the Packers were kind of a little beat up a little bit, but man, Derrick Henry should have had 250. Honestly, I was upset that the young kid got as many attentions as he did, but I think we can beat him. I just think Lamar has to play, and we just got to scheme up the right way, and we still got to lay on Derrick Henry hard. Whether that's out screens, we have to get him on the second level because Patrick Queen doesn't want those problems. The last time he played Patrick Queen, Derrick Henry put him to sleep, if we remember correctly.
I remember very well, and I always remember when you called, brother. Thank you again.
All right, man. Be careful.
Happy New Year. Appreciate you. I don't even have New Year's Eve plans, so, I mean, be careful is one thing. Maybe I will have to be careful regardless. I don't know. I haven't even gotten that far yet. Guest lines are open. There's a pinned comment in my live chat. You want to share a thought with me. Russell, you've been holding for a minute. Would love to have you on in just a second. I just pulled up the wild card box score from January of this year, January 2025, a game in which the Ravens ran the ball into oblivion. Really, Pittsburgh was run into oblivion that day. Remember, Russell Wilson started under center for the Steelers in what became his last game as a Steeler. And the Ravens, let me get this number right in front of me. My God, they absolutely 464 total yards of offense that day, 299 rushing yards. So a 300 burger, call it. They absolutely dominated the time of possession game. They won the turnover battle. Actually, they tied the turnover battle. 2 goose eggs there. It was clean football. They were 10 for 15 on third down, and it was utter domination en route to the divisional round, and we all know what happened there in Buffalo. Russell, welcome to the program. Thank you for holding. Happy New Year. What you got for me tonight?
Hey, good afternoon. Way to suck it up and do a good broadcast here, sir. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm hoping Lamar can go, obviously. He's our first rounder. But if he can't, I feel real good about Tyler in there. Tyler's come in. Let's not wait too long. Lamar's going to suck it up and do everything he can, just like you are today. And if he can go, let's give him a shot. But tight reins. Let's run the heck out of the ball. And ultimately, I think we keep it simple, stupid, the KISS rule. Let the ball run. Let's get our guys in there playing good defense, solid. Let's our special teams really focus. But we should have this game. We've got everything leaning our way, unfortunately, with their injuries and their number one wide receiver out. It all behooves us and gives us the best opportunity.
I love it. And how often throughout your years of fandom does it come down to that fluky special teams play, right? That ridiculous game-changing red zone gaffe, whether it be on the Ravens or the Steelers end. These are how these games are ultimately decided, which is why the wild card round was so surprising and such an indictment on what Pittsburgh was doing last year. I don't see this being the case. I do believe that Pittsburgh will have a plan for Derrick, and it won't be one of those historic nights for the King, but the war of attrition, will that allow the Ravens over the course of a 4-quarter evening, right, to wear them down? And I think that's the formula. That's the winning formula. Maybe what you're getting at here. He doesn't have to have 150, 200-plus yards. Wear and tear on them. Make the winning plays on third down, whoever's playing quarterback. Do not settle for field goals. Get at least one turnover, one takeaway. Play sound special teams. You're going to have a darn good chance to win.
And our offensive line, they played well last week. Let's get a continuation. Allow the defense, our tight ends to come in and assist and beat them up, and then peel them off. A quick toss off one way or the other, and then let's really chip away at these guys.
I love it. Appreciate the call, my man. Happy New Year.
Feel better, brother.
Thanks, Russell. Love a good new caller, man. Maybe I've talked to him before out at the tailgate, but I love new callers, prioritize new callers, and that is why. Who is Francois? Am I pronouncing that right? Is it Francois? You know, Trosset, by the way, is actually French. There's a level of French in Trosset. It would be pronounced Trosset. So one, did I completely botch Francois? Or am I getting it correct?
Nah, you got it correct, brother.
Let's go, baby. Are you north of the border? Where you at?
I knew you would. I'm from Florida. We in Florida.
Oh,
Bradenton,
we got a
Florida.
Floridian in the house, baby. Where are you calling from?
Palmetto, right out of Palmetto High School, right where LeJohntay Westner went to school.
Hell yeah, man. Appreciate
So
you calling. What's going on today?
LeJohntay personally. But Bobby, I gotta remind you, man. I know you talked a lot about the wild card game last year, which was a complete dominance at the run game. But let's not forget about the Christmas game against the Steelers last year. Lamar only rushed for 22 yards.
Houston.
Was it Houston Christmas?
Houston Christmas.
Then it was the week before Christmas. Houston got, or maybe it was the week after. I believe it was the week after. Could have been the week before, the week after. That's where our Darius Washington got the fumble on Russell Wilson.
Russell in the red zone, not to be confused with the hit stick that he put on Joe Mixon Christmas Day.
Yeah, that was beautiful too. I miss our guy, man. I miss our guy. It's shame when he gets it in the fourth quarter. But that game, we beat him 34-17, and Lamar threw for 3 touchdowns. And on top of that, Derrick Henry ran for 160. Lamar ran for 22, Justice Hill for 30. And, it just goes to show, man, we don't really need Lamar to be, a 75 rush yard guy in order to beat the Steelers. I think what we need turnovers. It's going to be on the defense because we can score. We can put up points. I think a lot of it has to do with the offensive scheme that Todd Monken has been calling with Lamar. It's, I heard a quote. It's saying that the Ravens on Saturday played how the Ravens are supposed to play. And the way that they play with Lamar Jackson is how they want to play. Like all these other drop back quarterbacks that put up 300 plus yards, but that's not us. I think even the offensive line benefited from the play call. And I don't know what it is in that head of Todd Monken and John Harbaugh that doesn't allow them to kind of slow things down. I said it before the game. I'm sure a lot of us did. They simplify everything for Tyler Huntley, and we need to do the same thing for Lamar. We need to stop playing as if we didn't get Derrick Henry to rush the ball and stop acting like we actually got him just to add a nice running back in case we need him. No, we need him. We need him at each and every single play, just like we did on Saturday. So what do you think about that?
I appreciate it. I think that there's obviously a level of the playbook that is not tapped into when Snoop is out there for obvious reasons. A lot of that has to do with his abilities as a passer or lack thereof, or some of the confinements, the refinements that need to be made when Snoop is out there versus Lamar. But one thing you did see, though, was the decisiveness with his legs. And you mentioned Lamar's legs last year. That's one thing that he has not had at his disposal really throughout the majority of this season. And you've seen some of the issues when he can't extend a play as someone that does it better maybe than anybody that's ever played the game in that improv way. And so not only has Pittsburgh played him well over the years when he is at full strength, but that's the problem. Like that's what my biggest concern is moving forward. I saw Lamar 8 days ago, meaning we all did, when he voluntarily made himself available post-game. Did not look like a player that was going to play on Saturday night in Green Bay. And I have no idea 2 weeks removed from that. It will literally be 2 weeks from that moment, post-game 8 days ago. It'll be 2 weeks from that moment that Lamar made himself available to the media, that he could potentially be suiting up in a winner-take-all moment in Pittsburgh on the road, where they traditionally have the athletes for him defensively, have the spy, right? Force Derrick to beat them laterally, which we all know he's best north to south. Lamar can do whatever compass direction you want. He could have his goddamn blindfold over him when he's fully healthy, and he'll find a way to open it up and find that space. So that's my biggest concern. If Lamar is moving, and that's why the poll question is what it is. If Lamar Jackson's compromised going into this game on Sunday, I really do think that there's a debate to be had, not about who the future is in Baltimore. That's not a debate. It's who gives them the best chance to win physically given the schematics and given Derrick Henry's presence on Sunday night. And then after that, the conversation can be had, okay, it's a home playoff game if they get on the other side of this game. Snoop's beaten Pittsburgh before. Who best gives them physically the best chance to win on Sunday? And I think we'll know more about that this week, starting on Wednesday when they trot out for practice.
Yeah, Snoop has beaten Pittsburgh before. I think it's a different defense, and I guess when it comes to Snoop, what I'm afraid of, I'm afraid now that they have film on him, because Green Bay didn't really have any film on Snoop, even up until the point where they would be able to actually use it, preparing for the game. But I'm afraid Steelers are going to blitz him. I'm afraid Snoop is going to look lackluster, and I think Lamar is just someone who's just more capable of that. It adds in that element to have to add a spy or play a little bit of two-man deep, just a lot of different factors that doesn't come into play with Snoop. I think Green Bay, they didn't do much blitzing, and when they did blitz him, he did hit Zay Flowers, on the side for that touchdown, which was a beautiful placement and good adjustment by Zay Flowers to score on that play. I guess I just I want to see Lamar out there. That's my boy, Ravens fan before Lamar, diehard Lamar fan after Lamar. And it's going to be a rocking game. I'm excited, and I can't wait to get this wild card home game after this.
Enjoy it, man. Appreciate the call. Thank you.
Later.
Guest lines are open. Love it. New faces, new names. I love that. Over 900 concurrents and counting. Let's get that number to over 1,000 if we could. Like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership. Tom's been holding for a minute. Good to see you, brother. What's going on?
What's going on, Bob? How's everything?
Great, man. What you got for me tonight?
Yeah, man. Just see, the thing is with this whole Lamar Huntley debate is I think Raven fans are slightly delusional in the sense of this. There is no debate, right? If Lamar's 100%, we're not even talking about this. The reason that we're even talking about this is because of the injury. Lamar has had no runs over 20 yards this season. And you tell me, ever since the injury, he hasn't even looked 60% of himself. Hasn't shown he's able to escape the pocket. He hasn't shown he's able to run the RPO game. And we've seen that with Huntley. He got 60 yards. He was escapable. He knows his limitations. He kept it short. He concised the field. Didn't try to do too much. And the most of all, he played mistake-free. See, the thing is with Lamar, if you're going to give me Lamar at 60% or Huntley at 100, I don't think it's a debate. You have to go at Huntley. Now, of course, if you're going to give me Lamar at 90 or 100, there is no debate. You go with Lamar. But what have we seen to think that Lamar is going to be healthy? There has been zero evidence of this since he returned, that he's going to be at any way, shape, or form healthy. And I understand it's more of wishful thinking. We want to see Lamar out there. But here's the reality, guys. Lamar is not healthy. He's not. We all know this. If we put him out there, he's going to get blitzed. He's not going to be able to escape the blitz because remember, Lamar's mind, he's 100%. He's going to be like, oh, I got this. He's going to revert back to his old self, try to escape, potentially hurt himself more. Huntley gets the ball out, 2 seconds, quick passes, give it to Henry, keep it short, don't turn it over. I don't think this is a debate, guys. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Let me stop you
Bob.
on one thing, though. Let me stop you on one thing. I don't think he's been anywhere close to 100% since he returned, which was the Thursday night game against Miami. Okay, period. 2, I don't agree with you in terms of some of the flashes. We saw flashes of mobility, flashes of health, particularly against the Patriots in the first half. I'd say against the Bengals as well, where you started to see, and granted, again, it was not over 20 yards, right? It wasn't those bursts, that ridiculous Lamar Jackson burst, but you started to see little flashes that Lamar at least started to not only trust himself more, but find a little bit more left in that physical tank. So while, again, I'm with you on the whole lack of 100% thing, really dating back months now, I did start to see a trajectory that was going in the direction of saying at least, okay, maybe they can get back to some of the quarterback designed run games here and there, right, in situational moments and other RPO opportunities as well. But then obviously when he got nailed in the back, I mean, it's from then on, it was over.
And and to your point, Bobby, and he was starting to improve from the lower body injury, from the leg injury. We've seen it. But now this new injury emerged, and it's like a compound effect. And this is just my opinion. If we cannot do an RPO game with Lamar out there, if Lamar cannot use his legs and is strictly going to be a drop back pocket passer, I don't think that's a formula for success. I think it's been proven. I think when Huntley uses his leg, when we open that RPO game, when we run the ball, we don't turn it over, we win, man. If Lamar is not going to be a threat at all with his legs, I think it's easy to go with Huntley. If we can wave a magic wand and Lamar's all of a sudden, I'm ready to go, I'm 90%, put him out there, Bob.
Tom, thanks for the call, brother. Appreciate it. Happy New Year, man. Guest lines are open. I do need to kind of slap a timer on some of these calls down the stretch here. We're going over an hour, and I got plans at 6:30 that I will not be telling anybody about. A super chat coming up here in a second. Olu says LJ8 at 70 is better than Huntley. What are we talking about? Use the same game plan. Run the ball and scheme it right. LJ all day. Come on. Olu, who just called in a short while ago, making sure his voice is heard today. Where are we at with the poll? Coming up on 500 votes. Should a physically compromised Lamar push himself to play on Sunday? 51% of you say no. 49% of you say yes. What say you? EB in the cut. What's going on, EB? Oh, look at EB getting himself right over here. Take a look. A little smoke break for EB, baby. What you got that shit laced with, huh? What you got over there, EB? It's not often that you're off the clock, but you off the clock right now, my guy.
I'm smoking a little bit of marijuana to myself, Bobby. I'm having quite today. I've had quite today.
What is going on, EB? What you got in there? I'm gonna fill up my water here for a second to try and get sober while I do this. Go ahead and tell the people what the hell you're enjoying, indulging in.
I'm indulging in some high quality marijuana. You feel me? I actually know the grower personally, so I know this is some yeah, Bobby. But to get back to football,
Sweet Jesus, man, what cloud are you on right now? It ain't 9. It might be in double digits.
We're well in the double digits. I'll tell you that, Bobby. But I think Snoop. Well, my faith is still well out of the door. I love what I am going to say is I love the optimism. I love the encouragement that I'm hearing from the fan base and everybody in this chat. But I just feel as though at this point it's time for change, because I don't want us to get into the, let's just say we beat Pittsburgh, we get into the wild card. If we see Houston, oh, have mercy. Our best bet is probably the face the Chargers or the Bills, because their defense is not really stacked, in my opinion. They only scored 12 points their last game, and considering that quote unquote Josh Allen has a foot injury, that explains why he missed that wide open throw to win the game. But anywho, I think it should be Huntley, because at this point you might as well give Lamar a whole nother week to really rest up. Like, if we're gonna make a deep run, and especially going against teams like if we had to see Houston or if we had to see Denver, we're gonna need Superman. We're gonna need Superman. But see, at the same time, like I said before, Bobby, I want us to go in the playoffs. I want us to go and win it. But at the same time, once it's all said and done, I still want change. I still want a whole new head coach. Like,
there will be plenty of time to talk about that. You know it. It's coming up perhaps in the next week or so. If not, maybe the week after that. Or maybe, just maybe, if Mr. Ravens football gets what he wants, well over a month from now, we end up having that conversation. EB, get yourself right, brother. Actually, you already are. Appreciate you, EB. Guest line access is open. Just updated the pinned comment in my live chat because I am at capacity in terms of the waiting room availability, and I am up against the clock. I would love for you guys to join the Bobby Baltimore Discord server. We're coming back to the waiting room in just a second. Do not worry. This is 24/7 conversation for Baltimore sports-related commentary, Ravens commentary, Orioles commentary, you name it, take your pick. And there's literal chatter happening in here as we speak. Look at this. Evan is in here, but he ain't in the live chat, meaning he's not in the live stream. Where are you at, Evan? That is Tez Gold Jacket Walker, by the way. Yeah, I guess he loves himself some Devontae Walker. Is he taking a stand because of Devontae Walker non-involvement, whatever the hell the English is there? Anyway, there's constant chatter in here. Would love for you guys to join. It's free. It won't always be, but it is right now. And I just dropped that link into the pinned comment. There it is again on the live chat as we speak right now. Back to the guest lines we go. Let's get an update on where the poll stands, and it has everything to do with Lamar Jackson. Should he play physically compromised on Sunday night? 52% of you say no. 48% of you say yes. Judah, what's up, brother?
What's going on, Bobby? Can you hear me?
Oh, we always love when you show up in a command center setup. Here he is.
Oh, yeah. So, man, I'm going to be real quick. So, of course, I talked to you, I think, yesterday. I'm more for Huntley. I think Huntley should be playing right now, and I have a lot of reasons. And I want to point some things out that I heard people talk about that I disagree. Somebody said that they think that the reason Huntley had success was because it's not a lot of tape on Huntley. I beg to differ. I think there's years of tape on Huntley. People know who Tyler Huntley is at this point. You know what I mean? So to say that they don't know who Huntley is, so they can't game plan is the reason he has success, that's untrue. Another thing that people are not looking at why we able to run the ball, they say, well, just pound the rock with Derrick Henry. I think we would be a lie to say in these 2 years that Derrick Henry has been here that we haven't seen them try to force the rock with Derrick Henry. And there are games where Derrick Henry gets shut down. Now, I'm about to make a lot of people mad, but I mean, I've been watching film. The biggest difference why Derrick Henry has more success when he's rushing with Huntley in the backfield is because with Huntley taking the check downs, with him always looking for the open man as fast as possible, with them knowing they won't get pressure to Huntley before he gets the ball off, they cannot put 8 in the box against Baltimore when Huntley is at the helm. I challenge anybody to find film of somebody stacking the box with Huntley in the backfield. They know they can't do that because whenever you stack the box and put 8 in the box, even if they're in a running formation, if there are receivers there and he audibles to a pass, they know that Huntley will find the open man fast before they can get anybody to him. So basically, Derrick Henry and Huntley feed off of each other. Now, I'm not saying Lamar can't do that because I think Sarah said earlier, she brought up the point that last year Lamar was extremely efficient. I'm not saying Lamar can't be efficient, but I do think coaching needs to stress to Lamar, listen, we want to start being able to run the offense with you that we run to Huntley, so we need you to make these quick passes. I'm not saying that you can't be Superman, but I think together between coaching and Lamar, they can find a way to make this more comprehensive because I think we have the perfect situation. We have 2 sample sizes, and we know that Lamar can do what Huntley is doing, but for whatever reason, he is not. And I think that's important. That's an important distinction because I really don't believe that teams fear Lamar in the sense that they won't stack the box on him because they know that there are a lot of times where he will try to do too much, and that's a fact.
I think Pittsburgh respects him. I don't believe Pittsburgh fears him. And that's no disrespect to Lamar at all. It's the compliment, and it has everything to do with the division, the rivalry, the familiarity. But there is a difference between the two. NFC opponents for 8 years running now have feared Lamar Jackson. Certain AFC opponents have feared Lamar Jackson. Pittsburgh's not one of them. Kansas City is not another of them. And I'd even argue that maybe Cleveland isn't either. But again, a lot of that has to do with the familiarity in division. Great perspective, brother. Safe travels out there. I'll talk to you soon. What's up, Mexico City, man? Back from Houston or still in Houston? Talk to me.
Still in Houston.
Talk to me. What do you got?
What do I got? I got the correct answer for LA Noir.
Uh-oh. What you got?
All right. 80% Lamar is better than 100% Tyler Huntley. But here's the thing, and I think who was the guy last that you got before me?
Judah.
Sorry, Judah. But he's right. It's like Pittsburgh, Cleveland, well, somewhat Cincinnati don't fear Lamar. But as I was seeing here in the chat, it's like Lamar likes big plays. He wants big plays always. It's like, no. It's like, we got to tell Lamar, no big plays, just what's immediate. Quick passes, hand it over to Henry. It's like, I understand.
Slope, right? Because I know, it's easy to say after watching Snoop because he's a 1 or 2 read guy within his progressions, right? He's getting the ball out of his hands quickly. He's acting decisively. But I know you know this, but he doesn't possess what Lamar has. So while Lamar doesn't have what he always has had throughout his career right now because he's physically compromised and the ability to improv and extend is not to the degree of what we've watched. Like when you put that player in that box, in one breath, I'm like, okay, I get it, man. I see what you're saying. It's temporary. That's a temporary strategy while you're compromised before you can get to the offseason to get yourself fully rehabbed. But in another breath, it's like, God, you got to play to win the game. And if Lamar ultimately is feeling a certain level of intuition on a play, right, it's hard to put that player in a box and be like, you got to get the ball out of your hand in 2.5 seconds or less.
Yeah, but here's what I would do. If Lamar's at least 80%, have the same game plan that you had with Huntley. Quick plays, hand it to Henry, heavy formation. That worked. And you got to remember, you can run on the outside because there's no TJ Watt. Cam Hayward is coming inside. So outside runs with Henry.
It's going to be a problem. You got to run away from Highsmith.
Yeah. So they're coming internally.
Did you watch him yesterday?
Yeah, I did watch him yesterday, but you got to remember that's Cleveland's O-line. That's worse than the Ravens. So
I get it. Shit, is it worse? Is it worse than the Ravens?
I mean, yes, because it's on the edges. But
Rave doesn't think so. Rave's down in the waiting room right now. He doesn't think so. I've been putting words in his mouth. I don't know what he thinks, but final word, brother.
Final word. You play Lamar, and if Lamar feels that he cannot go, you got Huntley ready. Yeah. Like having literally ready just in case Lamar just doesn't feel it, but have the same game plan for both. Because that way you can actually make the O-line consistent because you say, oh, okay, it's the same game plan. It's just, different quarterback, but it's the same place. And that would actually help. And on the defensive side, yes, you don't got neither Metcalf nor Washington. So if you don't blitz, I'm going to send Mike. I'm going to meet him at the bar, and I'm going to tell him, hey, you know what? Grab a flight to Pittsburgh. I need you to take Zach Orr's position because he's not working. He's not working.
Thanks for the call, brother. Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year, and stay safe, man.
Appreciate you. I'll find something to stay safe in when it comes to my Wednesday night plan.
You know how crazy people can get in New Year's Eve.
I do. So, I'll find something so that it's warranted on Wednesday night for people to stay safe.
And I got Christmas and Christmas.
Look at you. Ready to go. Super festive. Thank you, Mr. Houston. Let us all know how that development's going on there, that romantic development in Houston. Rave, what say you?
EB Judah.
My man, what cloud? What Nimbus cloud was my man on today?
EB and Judah was by so far that said something that I can actually go off of. Everybody else, Okay, listen. Let me speak some facts, and Chad can agree with this. The only reason Derrick Henry was running that much is because everybody in the mother-loving land begged John to run the ball. And the season was on the line. The reason the Ravens looked more simple is they said, okay, Tyler Huntley has to keep us alive. What are we going to do? We're going to run the ball as much as we can, and then, let Tyler Huntley throw a few small plays, throw a little flats. Cool. You get what I'm saying? They're not going to do that with Lamar. You know why? Because Lamar is a more comparable quarterback. He can do much more than what Tyler Huntley can do. Now, do we put Tyler Huntley into this game that we're about to play? Yes, unfortunately, because Lamar was getting healthier and he took a back injury, back contusions while he was getting healthier. So guess what? That means that's a setback. That means whatever mobility that he was gaining and getting better with, that just went down. Now, I don't know how much his level is of health he is, but I mean, if Lamar says that he's good, he can go, hey, shout out to Lamar. He's going to get on that field. Now, chat. Here's another thing, okay? Judah said, that Lamar's not doing that, whatever. But you gotta understand, that's coaching. The plays are set for Tyler Huntley for simpler passes, simpler plays. And my God, the O-line, holy God, I have so much film that Falala was still bad in that last game that everybody wants to give him so much credit for. But I will say this: the offensive line looked better. But my God, it took week 18 for our season to be in. It took week 18 for that to happen, for the O-line to actually pull. I'm watching Daniel Falala actually run his big ass in a hole. And he actually got in the way. He wasn't even a good block. He was just in the way and it worked. Good job, big boy. Thank you. We took you to week 18 to do this. Now, let me tell you also something as well. My Lord. Stop blaming the corners. There's no pass rush. And listen, Zach Orr has our corners playing 15 yards off the wide receiver. Stop blaming Nate Wiggins. It's not them. It's the coaching staff. Zach Orr sucks. And here's the thing, which is beautiful. This is what I like about EB. EB said the truth. I'm glad we're going to the playoffs. As a Ravens fan, we're happy. But guess what? Now, John Harbaugh's job might be safe. We're in trouble.
Oh, that's okay. Look, that was one of the better calls from EB right there. High level of entertainment. And what I love about EB is that my man comes on here. Again, it wasn't Cloud 9. I'm going to be asking for a poll. The new poll should be this: what cloud was my man EB on when he called in about 20 minutes ago? Because it was not 9. It might have been a triple-digit cloud, to be quite honest with you. Let's ask Maurice what cloud EB was on during his exclusive guest call earlier this afternoon. Good to see you, brother.
I honestly have no idea what the hell kind of cloud the EB was on, but the question I can't answer this question. Who should we start going into week 18 against Pittsburgh? Maybe this is just me, but we personally don't have a choice.
You're smoking
but to
too?
start.
I didn't realize you're smoking too?
Look, man, I had to. I just got out of work. I've been
on
up since
with
5 in the
your
morning.
The shit?
Look, I had to get something to get me through the day. But
your studio's
what I was saying.
Where the hell is
man,
EB at right now? You guys boys, is he outside?
Look, EB is out there somewhere. But me personally, I say we don't have a choice but to start Tyler Huntley, because with Lamar and his back contusion, it's like, I know what it's like suffering a back contusion. Those things are not a laughing matter. And it is unfortunate on Lamar's behalf because he was just getting healthy at the right time, and he's already sustained a number of upper and lower body ailments over the course of 17 weeks of football. But Tyler Huntley has been doing his part whenever you call up his own number. And, like what they mentioned before, it's like Tyler Huntley and Derrick Henry, they feed off of each other pretty well. Sounds familiar, right? Because we've seen the same thing with Lamar and Derrick Henry.
Sounds familiar.
Now,
You and EB feed off each other pretty darn well as well.
Well, that's one way to put it. But yeah, it's like we all have our days. But yeah, we're gonna have to start Tyler Huntley going into week 18 against Pittsburgh. And I do agree with what Ray said. It's like the only reason why we stuck to running the ball is because not only the entire fan base has been ripping John Harbaugh to shreds, but it's also gotten to a point where former players and, media personnel and, even Shannon Sharp on a number of occasions ripped John Harbaugh to shreds for not sticking to what's always been working for us. Running the football has always been part of our identity for the past 30 seasons. And I kind of want to mention this about Derrick Henry. Now, despite Derrick Henry being 31, 32 years old, he'll
turn 32 the 4th.
Right. So despite Derrick Henry turning 32 soon, he is still one of the most, if not the most, well-conditioned running back in all of football. So you can always rely on giving Derrick Henry 20, 25 touches, 30 touches a game. And we've also seen in the game against Green Bay, he has made history. It's he surpassed Tony Dorsett and the great Adrian Peterson, respectively, on career rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. So if that doesn't scream, reliable, then I don't know what does. But I feel that is the best thing to do. It's running the football has always been our identity. I feel running the ball on offense, and also if the defense, especially the defensive line and the secondary, if they hold their part against Pittsburgh, we should be able to run out of Pittsburgh with the victory and try to take it into the postseason. So it's only going to be a matter of time, but we shall wait and see.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. And hey, you enjoy, not that you need this, but hey, go enjoy yourself the rest of the day. We'll catch up with you soon, Maurice. Thanks to all my callers. Thanks to Preston Automotive Group for the continued support of the channel. You can go follow them on Instagram at Preston Automotive Group. It's a great way to, one, keep up with what they have going on in the Baltimore area, and also you'll get really first up-to-date notifications and announcements on different giveaways that we tend to do depending on the time of year. So just drop that specific link to their Instagram page into the live chat. You can also see it up on the screen right now. And know that at any Preston area, meaning anywhere throughout the DMV dealership within any one of their locations, Bobby Baltimore subscribers get exclusive access to two different offers. One, a $500 credit towards a new or pre-owned vehicle, or when you buy 4 tires, you'll get 50% off in your alignment. Let me just clear my... I knew that was going to happen eventually, and of course it happens during my read. But anyway, Preston Ford West is my home location off of Liberty Road when I'm in the Baltimore area. They are all over the DMV, and they're a great follow here. Mark Andrews, one of their brand ambassadors here, who had a birthday last month. They went ahead and posted about that. They do a bunch of different things with Low Cash, a really popular band, and they have a presence at every single one of Be More Around Town tailgates, the home tailgates out at M&T Bank Stadium, 801 West Austin Street. So continued thanks to them for all the support. They're my longest standing sponsor. They've been believing in me for years. They've been supporting this channel, powering this channel for years. And for that and a whole lot more, I'm very, very appreciative of them, as I am to all my Super Chat donors, including Gregory Turner, who writes, Lamar hate is crazy. Green Bay ran 2 deep safeties the whole game, light box. Henry gets the ball 36 times. Ravens call the plays, not win, clear and obvious now. Greg, thanks for the Super Chat, and thanks to all of you for tuning in today. Over 1,000 concurrents at the moment. Olu on the way out says there is a reason that you can run more plays with Lamar. He is a better thrower of the ball, and 2-time MVP, should be 3-time. Run the ball, keep it simple with LJ. Olu, thanks for getting us on the way out, brother. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. That was 90 minutes for you. 6:30 commitment for me. I'll be well on time. Sarah and I will be back tomorrow inside the vault at 12 noon Eastern. We will celebrate her birthday. So come on out. Be supportive of the vault. Be supportive of Sarah's birthday. Join us. Coach Evans will join us at 12:30 for a film segment on all things Ravens. We look forward to it. Thanks to Preston Automotive Group. Thanks to ZipRecruiter and all of you for joining me here tonight. There will be a best of repurposed video dropping later on tonight. It's short form content for those of you that don't have time to sift through 90 minutes of me chatting and opening up the guest line. So I hope you enjoy that, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.